This all happened because Carly and I wanted goats for our backyard. We wanted a billy and a couple does so that we could have goat's milk and do that stuff. First time we had kids, we really enjoyed them. The first ones are actually in the team right now, and rather than sending them off somewhere, we got them jobs so they could help pay for themselves, basically. So while we were renting them out to households to do landscaping for individuals, we came and we visited with the city, Parks and Rec, and asked, would the city be interested in having goats do their landscaping of invasive species and things like that, prevent them from having to use chemicals and heavy equipment to kind of do the things that goats can do naturally.
So what can goats do naturally?
They eat all the green. They mash down all the vines. They rip up little shrubbery trees as well. They basically just clear the landscape. You can kind of see the stark difference between what they start with and what they finish in this little space. I've got actually a good photo taken from up there where you can see both sides.
Yeah.
And one is nice and green and lush, and the other one is just barren twigs and branches.
Well, Carly, you guys have become, all you have to do in Fredericksburg is say the goats, and everyone knows what you're talking about.
Yeah. That was surprising. So we didn't think that people were going to come down here and beat them up or anything, but we were not prepared for how many people were going to be visiting them on a daily basis. So it's been kind of reassuring. Obviously, when we put them in a residence, it's not as out in the open. There's less people passing by. We were worried. We did lose a couple nights' sleep, but we feel better now because they've been kind of embraced and people are looking after them, and it's awesome. It's really awesome.
Well, they're part of your family.
Yeah. So we did intend to get the goats for eating, and it turns out that I just don't have the nerve to do that because it's very hard when a sweet little baby goat is born into your arms. So we got them jobs instead, and it's working out well so far.
I like you and Shawn talk about the team, and this is a team.
Yeah, this is our boy team. These are, Dad is the big one that you'll see down here. He's the one with the big set of impressive horns. He's hiding out behind his tree right now. And these are all of his sons. Everybody else here, except for the little Nigerian dwarf, are his sons. And they work together. And then we've got a girl team that's at a residence in Spotsylvania. Goats are like bunnies, if you're familiar with that analogy. They are really good at reproducing at a rate of 1.5 or 2%. They're fertile. So you keep the boys and you keep the boys and the girls separate.
Yeah.
And then we've got our milking goats at home. So I make cheese.
Well, Shawn, they do good work.
Yeah, they do. They do thorough work, and they don't complain. There's never been a strike.
Well, so how long, like this area right here, how long will it take them?
That's a great question. So normally we do two sections of fence, which is about 300 feet. For the city, we did 450 feet. So there's basically a 450 foot diameter space. They cleared that over there in 2 weeks.
Wow.
They've been here a little less than a week right now, and you can already see that a lot of it's getting exposed. They are very much getting things down. They really hit the snotweed, right? Snotweed really heavily. So those brown twigs over there, you can kind of see they're defoliated right now. And if you look just past the fence, all the snotweed that's still there, it's real lush and thick. They took that out quick. It's amazing.
Well, with this week celebrating Earth Day,
right,
and you look at them, I mean, this is perfect.
This is a textbook poster story of how to do things green. So we bring the goats in. They eat. They don't cause a lot of erosion because we take them off the space before it gets down to grass, or I'm sorry, to dirt. Their poop. Carly can talk about how it's got less nitrogen in it, so it's not as aggressive on waterfronts. It's more easily and more palatable to the environment than say cow poop or horse poop even. And they just consume all the green stuff, and so the plants that are there, the invasive species that are there, are eradicated. while they're also being fed. So it's a win-win. And the city will come by, they'll plant native plants here, and because the goats have been here and they have been fertilizing the ground, those native plants will have a better chance of survival and taking over the space above and beyond the invasives.
Yeah, and so we're going to be here all day Earth Day too, answering questions for folks. So if any, come on by, we'll tell you all about them. And in fact, we're going to have another fence set up with some of our younger babies for goat yoga. So that'll be fun on Earth Day too. But the plan for this area, I believe, is the city's going to come by and remove all the dead vegetation that they just finished in that area. And then they'll be able to reseed that. And it's going to give people just a nicer view into the park. Less Japanese knotweed and more good-looking park stuff. So.
Especially with this park sitting right next to the river.
Yeah, and so typically when you're grazing goats for defoliation and to remove brush, you are looking at an overstock situation, which means you want to take a lot of goats, more goats than you would really keep in a small area for a long period of time, so that they clear it quickly. We couldn't do that here. Like if I were to throw 20 more goats at this team here in this fence, we don't want all of that manure to run into the water after a major rain event. So we've got a small team here. It's going to take them a little bit longer to finish, but we're not going to have to worry about throwing a bunch of extra nitrogen and poopy stuff into the water, which is good.
A little bit about your farm in Stafford.
Yeah. So we have a small little farm, 5 acres, that we have goats on. As Carly said earlier, we have our milking goats there now. We have chickens and bees and geese and everything else. We don't mow our property. We just use the goats. That helps with native species of plants, and then also obviously insects and so forth. So since we've been there, I think that we've seen 10, 15 new species of bugs and birds and things just on our little our little oasis, just from not mowing and kind of treating nature the way nature wants to be treated. So it's good.